GERENetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the GERE Radio Network. You're listening to the Better Live Than Dead podcast on the GERE Radio Network.
And with that, we welcome you to the Better Live Than Dead podcast powered by Better Live Than Dead and the GERE Radio Network. This is episode number 177.
175. Dude, we're creeping up on
175? I said 177.
He said 177. Lou, you just ruined it. What the hell,
oh, man,
dude?
what? Hold on a second. Let's start again. 177. Holy cow, we're creeping up on 200.
That's even a lot. That's a lot closer than 175. It's two more, actually. I can do math.
Good job, dude.
Congratulations.
So, I am Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLTD, joined by Mr. Perez at MRLG Perez. And you can't see this, but joining me on the video portion of things, John Cimino at the JC Money. This is a nice treat. We've been trying to put a podcast together for a while, and I didn't think we'd get one of you guys, let alone both of you. So this is pretty damn awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, it is very awesome. It's great to hear both of your voices. Ryan, great to see you where I can see you. Although I shouldn't be admitting this, I'm driving with the video thing on.
That's why
now.
I turned my camera off. I don't want to distract you with my mustache or my large head.
Don't worry about it. You're good.
Full disclosure, I drove by John earlier on the expressway, and I started honking and waving like a total knob, and he looked at me like I had a dick on my face. It was hilarious.
Well, I mean, you do, but it's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But no, I'm kidding you, Hump. Will you relax?
I just have to be mad about it. Lewis, we're calling this one today Summer. Is that you? This is the Better Live Than Dead podcast, man. We got a lot of fun, a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to jump in head first real quick. First off, before we get started, the big news that broke when I last wrote this podcast, the Rochester Rhinos, man, they're making some moves. Leicester City great and current striker Jamie Vardy is a co-owner of the Rhinos. The team is expected to return in 2022, both the league and stadium location to be announced. But guys, huge news for Rochester soccer. We've already heard about the Flower City Union. Now that the Rhinos are coming back for sure. I know the pyramid, the U.S. soccer pyramid, is a little weird, so we'll put this one on the back burner. I just wanted to get it out there that we will talk more about this. I did put out requests for comment from both Leicester City and the Rhinos, but because I'm just some schmuck with a podcast, I haven't heard back, shockingly. So with that being said, Ryan, I don't want to waste anybody else's time. We're going to jump headfirst into the three big things. And
our discovery skills on you being blocked from the Rhinos Twitter, it might not have gone very far.
Yeah, when I asked them to block me for some reason, and then he did, and then I got mad that they blocked me. I don't understand. I might have been on drugs. I'm not sure. But I want to talk about the Stanley Cup Final and the NBA playoffs. First off, I'm glad we have you here, John, because I want to talk about Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. They defeat the Clippers 4-2. It's Phoenix's first NBA Finals appearance since 1993, and Chris Paul makes his first NBA Finals appearance of his 16-year career, a combined 1,213 games. Chris Paul, long considered the most accomplished player in NBA history to have never appeared in the NBA Finals. Guys, it really seems like Phoenix is the one this year. Chris Paul has helped bring that team from not even being a playoff team to now they are the Western Conference champions. And I mean, they look like the team to beat right now.
Well, I would argue that their run unofficially began. Their run to this year's NBA Finals unofficially began in the bubble last year when they made that mini run to challenge for the 8th seed in the playoff spot in the bubble. This team is pretty well put together, and I'm not saying this as a Phoenix Suns fan from 1992 all the way through 2012. I'm saying this as someone that loves the game of basketball and has seen this rise. Devin Booker is that dude, and he can make things happen and has. But then you add Chris Paul to this team that's young, that's talented, very fast, very quick. His knowledge, his general court knowledge, very, very underappreciated in my opinion. And
I believe John. I believe they call his position point guard.
Yes. Well, I mean, let's be honest with you. The shove last night. I mean, he sold that thing like the freaking Rock sold the Stone Cold Stunner. But aside from
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that? No.
I don't. He got pushed from behind. He wasn't expecting it. Okay, maybe he sold it a little bit when he hit the ground, but that was a pretty hard shove from behind. So I don't think he sold it at first like a stunner from Stone Cold or anything like that. I really don't know what that was about. I will agree that he's made this team something different. Devin Booker is the man, and he's going to be the man for a while. But this team has got something special. They see not a lot of people, if you listen to rumors, like Chris Paul in the NBA. However, this team seems to really have some good chemistry, and they all seem to get along really well. So
they're well coached too.
They are very well coached, and Chris Paul has helped take this team to that proverbial next level. So I'm actually, would I like to see Chris Paul win one? Honestly, I really don't care. Would I like to see the team win one? I would.
Oh, I would love to see the team win one. It would, and I've been trying my best to find my old Charles Barkley jersey, my old Charles Barkley Suns jersey from 1994, 95, when it was cool for people like me that were like 80 pounds back then to buy clothes 6 times my size, so that way I could carry one of my fat ass.
I think we're losing John.
Is he breaking up?
Oh, he's back
God
now.
damn it.
Breaking up. Sounded like you had a really bad stutter.
You said your fat ass, and it just stretched it out really, really long.
How about now?
A little better, yeah.
That's better.
All right. Yeah, you know what I think it is it's probably because I'm going into. I'm on the Mint Mobile. I don't have any of the big 2 carriers anymore. So, hey, that wasn't me, but this is.
No, that was me. Because some jackass was driving into my lane.
Oh, all right. Cool. Well, double horn beep. Basically, I want the Phoenix Suns to win because the 1993 fan in me that watched Sir Charles, Danny Ainge, and the Suns lose to the Chicago Bulls in the finals that year would be very happy with this.
Well, not to mention, too, looking at the Eastern Conference right now, that series is tied at time of recording 2-2. Trae Young, we don't know his current status. He's day-to-day with a right foot bone bruise. He's questionable, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is out with a hyperextended left knee. That was just reported recently. So whoever faces the Suns, they're going to be banged up. And the Suns, I mean, they've gone through their issues as well, but it really looks like the Suns are hitting their stride right now, which for them, that's fantastic. But just looking at it on the surface, it doesn't seem like anybody in the Eastern Conference, whether it is the Hawks or the Bucks, can really match up and challenge this Suns team.
I think that's all going to depend on the condition of Giannis when he comes back, because Giannis is also that dude. And the Bucks, very similarly to the Phoenix Suns, are very well coached and a very even team. So, but I think whether or not the Bucks make it all depends solely on Giannis. Whereas I don't think that with the Phoenix Suns, regardless of Chris Paul, when he was there, when he was not there in the earlier games of the Western Conference Finals, the Suns really didn't necessarily miss a beat. So it's going to be tough, but really, whoever faces Phoenix, it's either going to be the condition of the star players. So Giannis's knee and whatever, I can't remember what you said was ailing Trae Young, but whatever his injury is, how that shapes up come finals time.
He messed up his foot stepping on a referee.
Oh,
also,
yeah, very important piece for a basketball player is the foot. So yeah, the foot, the knee, depending on the shape of both of those. I mean, I don't know. Right now, the Suns definitely have the advantage. Plus, they have the advantage of rest.
Also, moving on here, just real quick. I moved outside, so if you can hear my air conditioner in the background, I'm sorry, but it's too beautiful to not be outside right now. Looking at the Stanley Cup Final, real quick. Tampa Bay leads Montreal 2-0. Game 3 is on Friday night in Montreal. Now, Tampa Bay, Nikita Kucherov missed the entire regular season. He had hip surgery in December of 2020. He's got 30 points. He leads the entire league with 7 goals and 23 assists in the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs. Also for Tampa Bay, Braden Point, he has been goalless in the first 2 Stanley Cup Final games. But, guys, he scored 14 goals over 20 games in total this season, including the first 2 Stanley Cup Final games. That, like I mentioned, he's gone goalless. It really does seem like Montreal, Game 2, they really controlled everything about that game, but Tampa Bay just kept finding ways to score goals. They scored 2 goals. They ended up winning that game. And you just think about it, and you just think to yourself, man, Tampa is just like you said about the NBA, man. It's just Tampa is that team, and it's shocking. And Tampa won 3-1. Sorry, but Tampa is that team, and until proven otherwise, I can't think of anybody else who could beat them because they're just a complete team. If Vasilevsky's not on, Kucherov's on. If Kucherov's not on, Braden Point's on, and so on and so forth. They've got good coaching. They've got good defense, offense, goaltending. It's unreal to watch that team be able to match up with anybody and handle them relatively easily.
Yes, and as much as I hate the Tampa Bay Lightning, I hate them forever because they beat the Calgary Flames in 2003 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm still not over that. But they're very well coached, as you said. They gel very well. If one is down, the other one someone else picks them up, and they are really a cohesive unit on the ice. Now, as oh shit, I got off on the wrong exit. I've been talking to you guys. But whatever. Fuck it. That said, it's kind of hard for me to really look at this year's Stanley Cup Finals and think, maybe would be Tampa would be playing a different opponent if circumstances were not COVID divisions the way that they had, and Montreal kind of got in on the Canadian division, which was, you've seen the other teams that were there, not necessarily the most competitive amongst the bunch there.
Defense was definitely optional.
Yeah, and so it's hard for me to really kind of put this particular Stanley Cup Finals and this particular Tampa Bay team up there with another team that are another dynasty, or like Steelers when they went back.
I think we're starting to lose John again.
3 years ago.
Yeah, man. It's that Mint Mobile.
It is. It's that Mint Mobile. I see him talking. I just can't hear him.
Yeah, Jay, we can't hear you, bro.
Well, anyways, I think what he was trying to say is, I don't know what he was trying to say.
Well, what he started to say was that, to reiterate your point, they've done a good job of picking each other up. They've like you said, if one is off, the other's on. So they've done a good job of being able to not have games where people were completely cold, and it's helped them be a dominant team, and they're very well coached. I really don't see them being beat, like you said.
We have to see if Montreal can win. If Montreal wins Game 3, it could turn everything on its head. But I know it's very cliche, but if you go back home and Montreal gets that boost from the select amount of fans that are allowed to be there, maybe that could turn things around. But I think right now it's Tampa's in the driver's seat, and Montreal is miles behind.
100%. I also think it's been 18 years since that loss that John was talking about. It may be time to move past that.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. That man holds on to grudges, though. I do know that. I do know that for a fact. You should know that, too. Come on.
Oh yeah, no. I get it.
Now, I want to move over to baseball, Lewis, our second of the three big things in the podcast. I had originally written about the foreign substance ban that was coming, but since we haven't been able to get together and now we're finally together, we've got some stats because a foreign substance ban happened between the last time I wrote and then now that we're actually talking. Major League Baseball, as we all know, recently cracked down on pitchers and their increased usage of foreign substances on baseballs. Now listen to this. I've got a lot for you here. I read some articles today, got some real good stuff for you. Per Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated, quote, super spin four-seam fastballs, that's 2,500 RPMs or more, plummeted 69% in the first week of enforcement compared to the rate before June 3rd when the unofficial warning period began. An average of 17.2 super spin fastballs per game fizzled to 5.3. Also, after the average four-seam spin rate rose in 5 consecutive regular season months, it fell by 61 RPMs in June to the lowest regular season month, to the lowest RPM rate in a regular season month since August of 2018. Also, of the 35 pitchers with the highest four-seam spin rate on June 3rd, 33 of them, Lewis, saw a decline in the spin rate since then by a drop of 96 RPMs. Also, Tom Verducci went on to point out and gave us some good examples here. Boston Red Sox pitcher Garrett Richards, who spoke out about the drastic crackdown on foreign substances, says, quote, the crackdown has changed pretty much everything for me. I feel like I need to be a different pitcher than I have been the last 9.5 years now. Richards from 2017 through May of 2021. His fastball spun at about 2,604 RPMs. Hitters batted .281 against it. In June, his spin rate shrunk by 120 RPMs, and hitters have crushed it for a .380 batting average. Verducci went on to say that the Yankees gave Garrett Cole $324 million after he won the 2019 ERA title with a 2,530 RPM fastball. This month, his ERA is 4.65 with a 2,358 RPM fastball. Even more, the Dodgers gave Trevor Bauer $102 million over 3 years after batters hit 172 last year against his 2,770 RPM fastball. This month, they're hitting 320 against a fastball that is down to 2,582 RPM. So we're seeing the numbers drop, Lewis. We're seeing pitchers start to become a little more human.
Yes.
But on the flip side of it all, before I get your thoughts, the potential downside we saw 2 weeks ago, Tampa Bay Rays pitcher Tyler Glasnow or whatever, was diagnosed with a partially torn UCL. Per ESPN's Jesse Rogers, quote, Glasnow said in advance of MLB's initiative, he did away with using sunscreen, the only foreign substance he said he's ever used, 2 starts ago, and felt sore the next day, needing to adjust his grips. He said he did the same in Monday's outing 2 weeks ago against the White Sox, felt something pop in his arm. Said essentially he had to hold the ball deeper, grip it harder, which then put more stress on his elbow, tears his UCL. So there is a negative to this because baseball went from spider tack to nothing. A lot of players have said that they like to use a combination of rosin and sunscreen, which has been around forever, I guess. But Lewis, What are your thoughts on Major League Baseball just flat out saying, cut it out? We've already seen a guy get suspended for 10 games for a foreign substance on his mitt, which he said was just rosin and sunscreen, but they said it was too sticky. What are your thoughts? After all of that information I just dumped on you, what do you think about this foreign substance crackdown?
I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. You know what? Listen, I understand our batter's at a disadvantage if pitcher uses foreign substance. Absolutely. But you know what? That makes the batters raise their game. And let's be honest, over the last couple of years, we've seen more home runs than we've ever had. So it wasn't that much of a detriment. Personally, I love it when it's a good pitching game and pitchers are just knocking people off. If it's sunscreen and rosin, like, who gives a flying fig Newton? I don't. Let
the spider tack, I think, is what the problem is.
Okay, you know what? Honestly, I don't care about that either. I'd like to see pitchers dotting, the corner at like 100 miles an hour.
I wonder though, because it's not so much the problem of like speeds and stuff. It's how much the ball is rotating, and that's giving these guys the unfair advantage. I mean, because we're at a situation now where, Lewis, we're seeing some of the lowest batting averages we've ever seen in baseball history, or in a very long time at least. And I think it's coming to the point now where I think, and I agree with you for the most part, that this is kind of absurd. For every action there's a reaction. I get that, but this might be an overreaction. I think you need to take time and discuss with the players in the Players Association and come up with a resolution as to, hey, this substance is okay, but this substance is not, and it's up to an umpire to determine if they think it's too sticky. You're done. But it's been a little ridiculous with the uniform checks, the hat checks, the glove checks, all that stuff. And we've seen it kind of been made a mockery so far. But again, I mean, we've been seeing Major League Baseball do a lot of crazy stuff. Excuse me, especially with the CBA coming up. Excuse me. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go down. And I got to be honest with you guys, this is kind of going on a tangent real quick, but enjoy baseball this summer because we may not have baseball next year because it's going to get very ugly. And I think this is one of the many things that will be brought up is how much do you really care about the players that they use this, and they say they use this for the ability to be able to grip the baseball because, again, they're also changing the baseballs as well where the ball is getting more and more difficult to hold on to because they're trying to make the ball – they're trying to essentially juice the ball. We saw a couple years ago where home runs were up exponentially, and a pitcher said, the ball is different. We know the ball is different. And baseball said, absolutely not. There's no way it changed. And then all of a sudden the postseason comes around and the ball changes again and the dynamic completely changes. So again, I think a lot of stuff's going to happen. This is just one of the many things, but baseball is going to be very interesting to when they figure out what exactly they're going to do here and how they're going to police this because it's ugly so far.
It has been. Watching these pitchers drop their pants and act, really indignant about the checks has been, humorous. I get to a certain extent why the MLB is doing it, but frankly, I just feel like let it be. I think,
like I said, I agree with you, but I think to an extent it's gotten out of hand, and there needs to be some policing. But I think just saying absolutely not, that's the wrong answer.
Sure, it's gotten a little bit out of hand, but it hasn't cut out. It's not like the Astros banging on a garbage can out of hand.
I think it's getting to the point where it might be that bad, just because again, it's you reach the point where they have such an unfair. If you get a chance, go on the internet and look up spider tack. I saw a video on TikTok, which is always a great way to start a conversation, and a guy had spider tack. And he was able to pick up a baseball bat with spider tack. We're literally just putting it on the bat and then picking it up with the piece of spider tack that he had. And this is what pitchers are using to allow the ball to stick on their fingers so that way they can hold it longer before they release it. So again, maybe you could take a deeper look and we can discuss it a little more. But I think that the reaction was an overreaction. Something needs to be done, but I think you can also create a bigger issue if you do too much too soon.
I agree with you. I agree with you. 100%.
So we've been chatting for a little bit, and we do have to put a commercial in here. And I'm trying to sync up with John here. So I'll see if I can get a comment from him regarding his abrupt absence from the podcast. So what we'll do, Lewis, we'll take a quick break. We're going to continue talking baseball when we get back from this commercial break here on the podcast. But again, stick around. More of the Better Alive Than Dead podcast right after these quick commercial breaks. And we are back here on the podcast.
Welcome back. Glad you didn't go anywhere. Thanks for staying around.
You just say that because 1 second here, I'm texting my wife. She's on a plane right now. She's going on vacation or a little vacation with her coworkers. Anyways, I'm back. Podcast is back. We are back. And I've got a message from John. John says to me, and I quote, "My first experience with a Mint Mobile failure. Sorry, guys. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. Please apologize to the listeners for me. I still love these Mint Mobile spices, though. So I will deal with the intermittent signal." Quote, and then he said, Mint Mobile prices. Fucking text-to-speech. Even that's failing me. Fuck the Tampa Bay Lightning. End quote. That's from John. So we're back here on the podcast. We're talking baseball still. This is the third of the three big things here. And we're going to talk a little baseball standings and stats update. First off, in the American League East, the Boston Red Sox, who played this afternoon and crushed the Kansas City Royals, 51-31, a 3.5 game lead in the East. In the Central, the Chicago White Sox, 47-32, they have a 4-game lead. In the West, Houston, 48-33, they have a half-game lead. And the wild card, you've got Oakland at 48-34 and Tampa at 47-34. Rounding up the pack. In the National League East, the Mets, 41-35. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, by the way. They have a 2-game lead. Also in the Central, Milwaukee, 48-33. They have a 6-game lead. In the West, San Francisco, shockingly, 50-29 with a 1.5 game lead over the Dodgers and San Diego Padres, who are both bringing up the pack in the wild card. The Dodgers at 49-31, the Padres at 49-33. That NL West is fantastic. Now, before we move on to stats, Lewis, I want to ask you, because you are the resident Yankees fan along with John Cimino, what's going on with the New York Yankees? This season, I mean, the Boston Red Sox weren't expected to be great, and they have sprinkled some magic voodoo fairy dust on their roster, and they're doing fantastic. But the Yankees are the opposite. They're very mediocre. What's going on in the Bronx?
I was talking to Aaron Judge the other day, and he was telling me that he's not even sure what's going on. They're trying their best, and I was like, "Well, Judgy, you need to motivate your team a little better. You need to get them going. You were projected by many people to win the series this year." And
were you talking to him in your sleep?
No, you know what? I got to be completely honest with you, man. The pitching has been super mediocre. The bats are going through really big swings. You'll have people who are just on fire or couldn't hit the broadside of the barn with a bat when they're standing right next to the barn. Like, it's been weird to watch. I don't really have a great answer for you. They've just been super mediocre, just super middle of the road. So I think the pitching has let them down quite a bit. Like you said, Cole got touched up big time this past month. And he started out super dominant, and everyone else has just been So I don't know. It's been difficult to watch. Not really. I mean, I love baseball, so I'll watch it anyway. You could suck big time, and I'll still watch it. But yeah, it's been weird to watch. It's been disappointing, and they can't beat the Boston Red Sox.
No,
I don't think they got a victory against Red Sox this year.
Red Sox are 6-0 against the Yankees this season.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said 6-0. I was going to say 7-0. I was going to be a game off, but
I'll take it.
So, yeah, I mean, normally it's a much even battle between the Red Sox and the Yankees. So I don't know. They need to find something. I got nothing for you, man. It's been weird to watch.
With the Red Sox, it's been great because they took a chance on Hunter Renfroe. He's been working out. They've had decent pitching. I mean, it's been a little bad as of late. Like I said, once they stopped being able to use all of the substances, things have kind of evened back out. But Chris Sale is coming back from Tommy John. He's been throwing, and he looks really good. The bullpen has been great. Rafael Devers has been fantastic. Xander Bogaerts has been fantastic. JD Martinez is returning to form. I mean, Alex Verdugo has been a lot of fun to watch. It's been strange because I didn't expect this roster to be this good in Boston, but
right.
I'll take it. I mean, Alex Cora seems like he's got a good pulse on the team. And it really, I thought last year was the Red Sox punting on the season just so that way they could say, look at the luxury taxes handled. And also we're going to get Alex Cora back. And that's pretty much what last year was, we'll just take this one lying down. And not to mention now the Red Sox have the 4th overall pick in the draft where they're projected to either get Jack Leiter, which is Al Leiter's son from Vanderbilt, or a catcher, I believe his name is Henry Davis out of Louisville. So Louisville, or is it Louisville or Louisville?
It's Louisville.
Because I sometimes say Louisville.
That's fine. you're
Is it
wrong.
Detroit?
That's
Is it Detroit or is it? I say Detroit, but some people say Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah, I say Detroit. I don't say
I've always
D. I
called
say Detroit.
Yeah, I've always called it Detroit.
So you say Detroit like D's nuts? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Oh yes.
Just put them in your mouth.
Can I speak to Candace, please? Anyways, back to the podcast here. MLB stats update. American League. The American League leader in batting average, Michael Brantley at 340. Not surprising. He's always pretty good at hitting for average. Home run leader, Shohei Ohtani. That's right. You heard it here first. Well, probably heard it somewhere else. I don't know why I said that. I'm a dumbass. Shohei Ohtani, 28 home runs. That is the pitcher and designated hitter, Shohei Ohtani, for you. Don't get it twisted. He's
a beast.
He's got 28 home runs, and he's also got a 3-1 record with a 3.60 ERA, 83 strikeouts in 60 innings pitched. That's 12 starts. He did get touched up against the Yankees, which, again, a game where the Yankees inexplicably blew a 7-run lead, which was mind-boggling. But Ohtani is as advertised. And look, I don't like Joe Madden. I think he's fucking clown shoes, for lack of a better explanation. But he is the perfect manager for Shohei Ohtani, I think. Like, just finding new and creative ways to fit him in the lineup and get him somehow on the lineup card when he's pitching or even on his days off. He's just, whatever he does, it works. I don't understand it, but I'm enjoying it. And I think that Shohei Ohtani right now, as of I almost said January 1st, as of July 1st, hands down, it's got to be him 1 and Vlad Guerrero Jr. 2 for the AL MVP.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Shohei Ohtani has been really fun to watch. You know, when he first came into the league and you heard about that experiment with the pitcher and the being a hitter and being a designated hitter. And, you know, my concern was injury. You know, is he going to hurt himself by doing both? And apparently, you know, I had nothing to worry about, because he's been an absolute phenom, and it's cool to watch. I would love to see him play in person at one point.
It's just crazy to see the ability that he has, just the raw ability to play baseball at a high level.
Yeah, I agree.
And really, we've been robbed because Mike Trout has been hurt. Could you imagine those two in a lineup back and forth, or front to back, I should say, just dominating, because obviously Mike Trout always dominates, but Ohtani is at the next level, and I can't wait for Mike Trout to come back to see how the Angels do with both of them in the lineup. But their pitching is garbage anyway, so they're not going to do very well, but that's beside the point. In the National League, well, first off, just a heads up, Ohtani and Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers has 69 runs batted in. He leads the American League and Major League Baseball. Ohtani leads Major League Baseball with his 28 home runs. Tied for the league lead.
How many runs did he have batted in?
69.
Nice.
69. Exactly. Very nice. Aaron Savali, I believe is how you say his name, of the Cleveland Indians, or the Cleveland baseball team. I forgot what they're going by right now. I know they're changing their name, but anyways, he has 10 wins, but he's on the IL for 4 to 5 weeks with a finger injury. Kyle Gibson of the Texas Rangers has a 2.00 ERA. He leads the American League. And Liam Hendricks has 21 of 24 saves on the season for the Chicago White Sox. He leads the American League. In the National League, Nick Castellanos. I apologize for my transgressions and a deep drive to right field. Nick Castellanos, 346 batting average, leads the National League and Major League Baseball. Leading the National League in home runs, another superstar, Fernando Tatis Jr., 26 home runs on the season so far. Tied at 56 RBIs, Ozzie Albies, Adam Duvall, and Fernando Tatis Jr. all, like I said, have 56 RBIs. Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs has 10 wins, again tied for the league lead. And Jacob deGrom, a .69 ERA, leads the league. Lewis, he has allowed the same amount of runs pitching as runs batted in that he has batting, with 6. That's pretty damn good.
Yes, that's really damn good.
It's hard to deny Jake deGrom. I think Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball, hands down.
Oh yeah, easily. I think right now, 100%.
He's unreal to watch. He's unreal to watch.
I can't even try to refute that. Yeah, that's 100% actual.
Wrapping up the National League, Mark Melancon of the Padres has 25 out of 28 saves. That leads both the National League and the Major League stats. So that being said, I'm out of a podcast. I got nothing else to talk about. So let's just shoot the shit for a minute, I guess, you know?
Hey, man. Sounds good. How you been? How's things going?
It's been good to be back on the podcast. Wife's doing good. With COVID calming down and people actually getting vaccinated, work has been much better for her. Work has been good. Life has been good. I'm very happy to share with everybody that it's the summertime and it's beautiful outside, and you probably should get outside to enjoy it.
I agree with you.
How have things been going over on your end, man? You just got a new house?
Bro, things are going well, man. We closed on a house 2 weeks ago. You know, it was fun. It was interesting. The housing market right now is absolutely bananas. You know, so when we decided to start looking for a house, there's a story behind us having to look for a house as quickly as we did, and I'll tell you that story not on mic, because it's kind of funny.
So it's one of those stories.
Yes, it's one of those stories. So, anyway, so we got approved for a mortgage, and you know, I got to give props to my wife. She's done a very good job the last couple of years getting rid of our outstanding debt and really jumping our credit scores up. Like, my credit score has jumped by over 100 points.
Wow.
You know, so, and so is hers. And that was my fault. Like, when I was having a series of sickness after sickness after sickness, you know, I kept losing jobs and putting us behind the 8 ball. And it's not like I was doing it on purpose, obviously. I was literally just sick all the time with my Milroy's disease. But now that that's been managed and I'm able to, you know, work on a consistent basis, with the exception of last year when I almost died from COVID. But anyway, you know, she's done a very good job of getting us into a position where we were able to buy a house. And one of the things we did was we saved up enough to actually just pay off my car. So that's a big chunk of change that we don't have to worry about. Especially with my car being 3 years old. I mean, it was nice to be able to put the money down that we did to pay it off. But anyway, my sister-in-law recently bought a house, and she told my wife to talk to her real estate agent. And my wife called me up and said, I don't like this guy. He seems like a tool. And I was like, well, what happened during the conversation? And she was like, he was very used car salesman. He was like, you know, the market is crazy right now. Being able to find a house in your price range may not work. It may be really difficult. That's why you need a real estate agent like me. And I was like, yeah, screw that guy. So I said, well, let's talk to the girl that I wanted to talk to. I know a couple of real estate agents. There was one specific that I wanted to talk to. And so I called her, and we talked for a little bit. Then I had her talk to my wife, and my wife was like, I really like her. Let's go with her. So we did. And 2.5 weeks later, almost 3 weeks, we had a house. So, you know, we put in an offer on the house. And this is how bananas the market is right now. We put in an offer, and we were one of 20 different offers.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's bananas. So our real estate agent called us up and said, listen, they've looked over all the offers. You're in the top 2. So I was like, okay, which number, 1 or 2? And she was like, well, number 2, but you're still in the top 2. And the number 1 offer was, bro, the number 1 offer was $40,000 more than what we offered.
Yeah, I remember when we bought our house out here in just outside of Rochester. Same thing happened where there were a lot of offers, but they they said that there was just something about us, and I know that our real estate agent did a little, provide a little intel on who we are and what we did and what we were doing, and we're a young family, all this stuff, and they really loved that, and they wanted to sell to somebody who would appreciate it and take care of it like they had taken care of it. And we just got lucky. So it's definitely crazy, because when you get that call and you find out, well, yeah, your offer is in, but there's 10, 15, 20 more, you're like, okay, so now what?
Right. Well, so what we did was, when we wrote up the contract for the offer, we put in a really nice offer, and what we told them was that we would do an appraisal gap. So if the appraisal came in at $5,000 over our offer, we would still give them our offer. So they liked that, and we can't move in to the end of August, because the people they're buying a house from are building a house, and the house won't be ready till the end of August. So, along with the appraisal gap, we told them that we would not charge them rent for 2 months. So,
oh, perfect.
Yeah, that was attractive. But so, our real estate agent says they want to know if you'll go up by $5,000, and we were like, nah, we can't. It's not going to happen. But we said, here's what we'll do. We can't go up by $5,000. However, tell them we will write them a check for $2,000, just $2,000 in their pocket to help with their moving costs.
Yep.
And 15 minutes later, she called us back and said, congratulations, you got a house.
That's fantastic.
So
we kind of did the same thing where we offered a certain amount of cash and like a check, obviously a check, but
right.
Because those things, I was going to say, providing cash to the sellers and also waiving like home inspections and stuff like that. Those are the things that I've been, obviously, with having bought a house, that those are the things that become, well, buying and selling a house, I should say.
Right. Those
are the things that are attractive to sellers, really, is that, can we get any money out of this, but also, how can we make ourselves look as attractive as possible? And obviously you put yourself at risk out there if there is a problem with the house during the inspection. But at that point, it's like, if you back out, someone else is going to take it because someone else won't care. So how much of a deal breaker is this?
Right. Well, so, I wasn't a big fan of waiving the inspection. However, I have a relative, I won't say who it is, but they do that sort of thing. And so during our final walkthrough, I had them come meet me at the house just to make sure there was nothing, bananas that needed to be fixed that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
And fortunately, there was one thing that needs to be fixed, but we knew about it already, and we know people that can fix it for us, so it wasn't really a big deal to us.
I mean, I spent the first year living in our new house, and we've been here almost a year, just fixing up small things like replacing outlets, replacing switches, painting, cleaning, getting things to feel right, so that way it's the way we want it to be, and then you can settle in. I mean, it doesn't have to be done now. It's you're not going anywhere anytime soon, but you obviously want the house to feel comfortable for yourself before you start to get too invested in it, right?
Exactly. So you know what, man, it was nice. We bought a house. We moved in end of August. I'll have people over to say what's up, check it out. It's got a spot. They have they put an addition on the house that originally was a 3 defense room, but they put heat back there so you can use it all year round.
Oh, awesome!
And I'm gonna turn that into my cigar lounge. So
that'd be pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to coming over. Maybe we could record some podcasts or something,
Oh, absolutely, 100%, man. We already bought some nice furniture from back there. It's gonna be a nice little spot to hang out.
I think I'm going to wrap up the recording here. We can still chat off the air. My dog is making a lot of noise. He's tearing up his little pool. but he's running around the yard with a giant plastic pool. So I'll just so it doesn't annoy the piss out of me, I'll let me stop this recording here real quick, and we'll wrap things up and we'll take it off the air. So everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, if you've forgotten, we're going to remind you, we are Better Live Than Dead.
You're not.
We will catch you sometime very soon. I am Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLTD. Lewis is at MRLG Perez on Twitter. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will catch you sometime very soon.
Deuces.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the GERE Network.